What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and it's the third one. I did all three. We're back to back to back, as promised. It was Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 3. It's available on Amazon with audio description. And am I excited for the new season after watching 3 hours of it? Not really. I am okay with it. I'm not part of the faction out there that's like, no. But for me, uh, I should say I really liked Peter Jackson's original trilogy a lot. And then when he came back for the Hobbit films, I thought they were okay. This to me kind of feels like that, where it's like, I think he kind of dipped into the well a little bit too much, and he extended that story way too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a big debate over how many films The Hobbit should be, and then suddenly it was 3. And people were like, what? This is one book. You know, like, uh, so, yeah, it was a bit much. It's sort of like insinuating that, like, Lord of the Rings should have been, like, 9, you know, because if each film had been three movies, then really we should have had, like, a 9-movie trilogy to tell the original story of Lord of the Rings. Um, but yeah, I was less enthused about The Hobbit, and still am to this day. So now I've got Rings of Power, which is like, okay, so some of the stuff works for me, some of the stuff doesn't. It's third episode, we still are deep in the dwarves, which is like literally my favorite thing about the show. Everyone else could die and we could just be watching dwarves, and I'd be like, this show got better. Why did it get better? Oh, that's because there's no one else in it. You know, I'd just be like, oh, we're just doing a dwarf show. Um, Not that I'm not saying anything about like the depiction of little people or anything. I have no idea if these are full-size actors that are just shot in a way to look like dwarves. Like, what was his name? John Rhys Davies in, in the Lord of the Rings franchise. Um, but yeah, there's a lot that you can do with forced perspective. Uh, so I'm going with that. I don't think I'm hoping we're not demeaning anybody, because I really love these characters. I just love the way they interact. I don't know if it's like the Scottishness of them all, but I just love how abrasive everybody is to each other. They're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. John Cena get me out there. Just, I don't know, I fucking love it. Um, I just realized I just really want to watch like a show like this, like where it's just like Scottish people arguing for like an hour, and just what's the plot? I don't know. What's this show about? I don't know. I just love it. It's my favorite reality show. So I love the dwarves in this series a lot. And this involves them having Celebrimbor comes to them and tells them about the rings and presents them, and is trying to win them over with the help of I guess what the we calling him now? Alorn, or I don't know. Dude, just pick a name, bro. You can't just be one time you can't be like, I'm Sauron, and then go being Hildebrand again, then being like, nope, my name is this. It's actually altruism. You know, like, I don't know what the name is. If this guy keeps changing his name every 5 minutes, I'm gonna come up with a name for him and just keep calling him that, because no, I'm so uninterested in potential Sauron and Sauron Light as a character at this point. Um, the Stranger, I felt like we didn't really resolve the stuff from the second episode, so that was sad. We did get some cool shit though that we would need to be resolved apparently from season 2, which was this fucking horse, man. this, this horse. There hasn't been a horse this cool since Atreyu in um Neverending Story. You remember that horse? like you were a kid and like your soul was being crushed in that scene with the fucking the the sand. It was just and he's trying to help his horse. There hasn't been a horse like that since. I stand by that. Like any Black Beauty, Black Stallion, anything like that has been made since Neverending Story. Since this horse is just like, I don't know. Like I rarely can you make a character out of an animal that doesn't speak, but this horse is just terrific. I mean, smart as hell. Like goes in like a fully fledged character, just like walks into this cave, finds his owner, who we thought died back in season one. Um, he's wrapped up in the spider web, right? He's he looks around. This horse is like, oh my god, there's spiders. Like I'm thinking, like this is a horse, man. Horses like frequently like rear up and they like run away. If they've already had one do that this season, they've already had his. They had it with the primordial ooze. There was a horse that was like, ah, I'm out of here, you know. So this guy's horse is like, and he paws at the webbing and frees him. I was just like, this is what kind of horse is? He's like licking his face to like bring him back, to like revive him. And this horse is the best horse of all time. I hence if you stopped watching Rings of, please watch this episode and watch this horse, and you can leave after that and just be like, yeah, that's the best horse ever. Just be like, I don't think there is another horse. It might be the most silly thing ever, but at the same time, this horse is and will forever be the best horse. I mean, we're talking about, luckily, the last unicorn is unicorn and not a horse, so we don't have to have competition. But wow, talk about a horse, man. This is I can't think of. Drop your favorite horse in the comments, because I don't think there is one other than whatever Bramboborn or whatever. I don't know. It's some weird name, but uh, I love this horse. This horse was everything. So that scene was great. Fighting the spiders in the cave was great, and the orc. I love that the orc is like goes after him too. Goes after the guy that was in there. I can't remember his name, but from last season, and he goes after him, and uh, I'm like, dude, do you not see the spiders? Like, do you not? Do you? I know you're an orc and you're probably a little slow, but at the same time, you were just inside of a spider web. Maybe, uh, maybe worry about the giant spider, like before, before the other. This is just me. This is my thought on that. Um, worry about getting out of the cave. I love that they're fighting like in the cave. I'm like, this orc is so stupid. This is the dumbest orc. No wonder it was captured. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that scene, and I also enjoyed the introduction of this giant thing that came into the camp and talked to the king orc, the orc king. Is that his unofficial name, or am I just making that up? I'm gonna call him Orc King. Yeah, and he's like, "Where's Sauron?" Like the word has gotten out from these. So these like nightmarish creatures are all like they don't want Sauron either. You know, they're like, "Well, no, we're not going to live under his tyranny." So it's almost like no one wants Sauron. Everybody wants to team up to find him and destroy him. And so the funny thing is, like the powers, the fighting of good versus evil. If everybody would just stop for 2 seconds, I feel like they could really get some stuff done. If there was a truce between everybody, they'd be like, "Ooh, okay, we heard there's Sauron somewhere. We need to stop." I know. I know we don't like works. We can go back to fighting afterwards, but we all collectively agree, worse than all of us is this thing, and we need to fight it. Can we do that? Can we can we all just stop and be like, find Sauron. Unfortunately, they won't do that. But I think it's this bringing in this giant thing really just highlights the fact that like everybody's on high alert. Like the word is out, and I feel like the Dementors from Harry Potter are going to come in and be like, make sure he doesn't come into our franchise. um. Anyway, yeah. So this is I gave the first two episodes a B, but the first two episodes didn't have this horse. And I gotta say, this horse man. First of all, we had way more dwarf time, which is like really going to be a driving factor for me for the third season. Is how much dwarf time am I getting? And then second time, we had a fucking horse, man. This horse is. I will remember this horse at the end of the year. I think I'm gonna nominate it for like best actor or best supporting actor in a drama series, like the horse from Lord of the Rings. I was just like, at first you're worried for the horse. You're like, oh my god, because the orcs make you think that they should be worried for it. They're like, no, it rode into the Black Forest. Nothing ever comes out of the Black Forest, and it's like it's trotting along. It's like looking around, and then you're just like, oh my god, this horse is smart. This is a weird horse. What is this horse doing? I feel like if this horse could carry a sword in its teeth and like run into battle, it would. You know, like if you gave it a sword and you were like, hold this in your teeth, it'd be like, "Argh." Let's go. Yeah. So we're bumping it up a little bit. I did actually like the third, even though I wanted more stranger and hobbitses. I like to say hobbitses. uh, yes, I got a horse and dwarfs. So a horse is a horse, a dwarf of dwarf. The audio descriptions are great too. Anyway, I'm gonna give Rings of Power season 2 episode 3 an A minus. It's maybe as high as the show's ever gonna go, but I don't know if we follow the horse and dwarfs all the time. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Just write off all the other characters and be like, what was season 2 about? I don't know. It was about dwarves and horses. It was like a horse army. It was all these really smart and intelligent horses, and they they were fighting spiders, and it was great. You know, that I don't think has anything to do with J.R. Tolkien or the Middle Earth saga, but it sounds really entertaining. So yeah, so that's it. Anyway, I that's it. I'm gonna leave you, and I'll be back next week with the fourth episode. God, I hope they don't drop 3 episodes a week. Uh, for some reason, Peacock is just blowing through Bel Air. It actually has me kind of worried about the future of Bel Air because I'm like, okay, so you dropped 3. Oh my God, next week is 3 episodes. Oh, you just, like, we are hauling ass through Bel Air. So hopefully Lord of the Rings just goes back to like sort of like The Boys, how they dropped 3 and then they dropped 1. So, because my God, if I have to watch 3 more hours of Rings of Power next week, it's exhausting, man. This series is not House of the Dragon has a better second season. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it as it is. But I will see you guys on the other side.